Hello everyone. This is an internal memo video. This is not the welcome video. This is to clear up a substantial amount of confusion between multiple parties, multiple projects, and multiple lines of thinking that need to be cohesively on the same page and understood effectively in order to get this done. So, right off the bat, this server and this community is called the Person First Initiative. As I misspell it, ignore my garbage writing. It's not important. This is not designed to be marketable. This is not designed to be interesting. This is not designed to roll off the tongue. This is designed to be Alphabet like Google. This is a holding company. This is the boring hallway of which all of the resources build and build and build and build and build and build and build. This is home base. This is the building. Divided into many different products and vehicles, however you want to envision it. Right off the bat, this is inspired by and is sourced from an online think tank, which I had previously run called Purgatory. I'm sure you've heard me mention it before. Right? I want out of that space, so I am piping a great deal of resources into the first person initiative from that think tank. This is a one-way street. First project that I've begun working on is a mental health interactive encyclopedia for crisis centers. It is called Outreach. This has a future of being a non-profit. This has a future of reaching a lot of people for free internationally forever. This can have some social media, some funding, some fundraising, some accounting and lawyering in order to have better structure. Right now, it is just a hope and a dream, essentially a glorified Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. In the body of social workers and mental health, it is getting some feedback, it is getting some interest, and my phone is starting to ring for this project. But right now, they keep dragging me into other mental health things. They want me on their team rather than helping me build out this product. So right now, this is very slow and it's on pause. A substantial amount of the resources for the Person First Initiative, which is invite only. This is not going to be marketable. It's not designed to be marketable, and I know that flies in the face of some things that have been said over the past week. I will address those things. Most of the resources for the Person First Initiative are putting into the United Trans Movement. And for those of you who don't know, it's the idea of unifying the trans people in the trans space for the LGBTQ community to stop all sorts of nonsense and rhetoric. This is done for the future generations to deal with aspects that are affecting later. That is the silver lining, but primarily it's to cut down on the bigotry, propaganda, and suffering of our brothers and sisters and other people in this space. This is where the pipeline of the experts, media managers, volunteers, and people who want to make a difference are going. It's a pipeline. This has a front name called the Gay Agenda. From maximum controversy and maximum cringe and maximum memeage. This is a known strategy. This is done intentionally, right? Now, ultimately, this might take on another form, but this is a profit organization. This is going to be run like a media conglomerate area because this is where the social media is. This is where the clicks are. This is where the action is. This is where the YouTube is. Right? In order to get interviews, get books, get controversial aspects explored, whether it's written, vocalized on YouTube or TikTok or wherever, or done through digesting what's already out there by the experts. We are very much reinventing the wheel, and I hope to get a lot of attention of people better educated than me in this space. That's literally the point. Right? And we do that with the blaring, obnoxious name, the loudspeaker of the Gay Agenda. There's already t-shirts planned. There's already all sorts of nonsense, fun nonsense here. Right? Next is where I want to go, what I want to do, what I strive for, is something called in Canada is when you are educated or only partially educated, or there's a misalignment in what you understand. Before you can enroll in university or before you can graduate with whatever you want, you need to do what's called upgrading. Right? We're going to be using the term or the name upgrade to signify people who want to better themselves in terms of life skills and education, whether you are in middle school, high school, an illiterate adult, a new immigrant to whatever nation, and we'll go international, but based on what we understand and the experts applied, this will primarily focus on North America because that's just our wheelhouse. We can expand it internationally later. There are other projects planned. There is something demonstrated by the administrator here, Oracle, who not now, maybe 4 months from now, maybe 6 months from now, will have another project. Now obviously this is already getting substantially complicated. We will streamline and simplify this example momentarily. Bigger picture first, and then we dial it into the small picture on the actual executable steps. And finally, something that will facilitate the last wing of this is what was the original sold promise, the original sold aspect of this. The other administrator, Random, will be running a section about changing hearts and minds, the workshop. In the same way, we want to work on mental health, projected future thought simulations, uniting the LGBTQ community, upgrading your education and your knowledge base. If you were told the wrong information, you were raised on hate, bigotry, nonsense, or you think you are part of the problem, you want to be part of the solution, you want to reach across the aisle, we'll take anybody. We don't care what you believe in. We want to help change hearts and minds by better educating you. For cult members, bigots, racists, whatever. We've had a tremendous amount of success in this before. Even members of this own community on staff and in the background are members from these organizations, skinheads, old Klan members, old cult activists, whether you're radicalized, de-radicalized from the far left and the far right. We want you to live a better, productive life. And Random, the administrator, will be spearheading that slowly over time. Right now, we do not have the infrastructure to facilitate this workshop, but that will be coming up in a few months. So in summary, Think Tank is closed and all the experts are being piped into this community. Outreach is where the nonprofit aspects are, where the mental health outreach is, where we can help and encourage our fellow man. Right now it is very, very slow, still active, but very, very slow. If anyone wants to volunteer or work at incorporating a nonprofit and outreaching to social workers and so on and so forth, contact me. This is you. This is where you live. Myself and most of the professionals here are going to be going into the United Trans Movement Front because, again, the silver lining will go into different think tank aspects will affect the next generation in the year 2030, 2040. We've run a lot of advanced models on this. So this is where it is. If you're not interested in that, that's fine, but this is where the action is. This is where we're going to be driving. That's where the main focus is. And when this is established and when it has its own gravity and its own organic growth, then you can peter off as you have accomplished what you need to do and you can go and work on something else. Right? This is where the social media aspect is. This is where the marketing is. This is the fun part. Everything else is pretty dry and straightforward. Next will be the education stuff, which is dead in the water, quite frankly, because so much of the resources and experts are spent somewhere else. Any future projects that come up are welcome to be under this umbrella. Just a quick pause here. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, you bored yet? Let's get the energy up a little bit. This will be part 2 of the Person First Initiative internal memo, just so you know what's going on, just so what the calendar is. I'll probably post this in another way. So first, at the time of recording, this is July 15th. It is Saturday. Hope you're enjoying your weekend. My partner, username Happy, is working on the logo for the Person First Initiative. She's doing it. She doesn't need any other help, right? This is just for the holding company. It's going to be boring, simple colors, straightforward, not interesting. Because of that, she can take as long as she needs to, because there's not a lot of marketing in this for staff and the higher end users, for people in charge, whatever your social media manager, although there's not much to manage, or you're trying to reach out to other professionals, there will be a Google Drive. And although I'm not very tech savvy, I know that much, where there will be a calendar, which will be publicly available to be posted here so you can understand what we're all working on in the first person space, or person first, sorry, person first space, right? The Google Drive for the documents, the mission objectives and the timeline, as well as the calendar, obviously transparent and available to everyone who's interested in that, right? So we have the name, check, the logo, Samantha's on it, Happy's on it. Next will be everything that goes with the Google, such as like a Gmail, and that's pretty much it. If we need more social media, we'll build that out, but it's not really that important as far as I'm concerned. Then we get to the next point of establishment for like a charter and the welcome video. I will make a welcome video here to make it very easy to understand what this initiative is, right? A happier, more streamlined version of the memo video. I'm going to market it and sell it, and I encourage all of you to do the same, as an archive. We have a shitload of fantastic resources for everyone from all walks of life. We can get around paywalls. We can get around restrictions on getting the media or the education tools, whatever. You want to learn how to rebuild an engine? Let me find a cheap way to get you that manual. You want to understand the controversial points of the opposite of what you know and agree with? Let's get the best books and the best YouTubers and the best documents and studies available, and you can vet them and verify them. Are you a programmer and you're already in the space of GitHub and you already know way more about technology in one pinky than I do in my entire body? Fair enough. Provide the resources so the new up-and-comers, whether they're tech dinosaurs or 17-year-old learning how to code in Python, give me what you know about the internet to help cut down on the time it's going to take for them to learn. We also have a substantial amount of layman's tools that we're offering in terms of hot links or software, right? You can listen to every radio channel, like FM, AM radio, in the entire world for free. There's a way to do that. If you want to access AI models, ChatGPT, on how to use back-end prompts in order to get unbiased opinions. You want to look at raw NASA footage. The internet's a beautiful place, and how you wield it. You put in you get what you put into it, basically. You put in what you get out of it, right? A lot of this will be exploited by people who have their own projects and have the entrepreneurial mindset. There's going to be almost like a reverse engineer a lot of the investing grind set mentality, and we can take the entrepreneurial aspect and turn that into academic. Can you imagine the drive of someone on the hustle, the game, the swag YOLO fucking nonsense, and you put that into academic pursuits and archiving? That's a force to be reckoned with, because now it's not about the money, it's about the change. It's about what you can get out of it. It's about the legacy. and nothing and no one can take that away from you, unlike inflation or interest in your bank account. Right? The Person First Initiative is primarily a phone book, an archive, and eventually a workshop. And then we will have offshoots of the previously aforementioned projects, with more to come. Random will be running the workshop. Oracle will be running his own project, as well as learning from all of you. With his background, he can contribute a great deal running back-end lines. Tim or Michael will be in publishing and graphic design for a lot of future merchandise. Samantha, happy, is a professional illustrator as well as an engineer, so she'll be doing some tech, but I imagine other kinds of illustration, primarily in merchandising. Right? Galaxy Muffin will be spearheading a great deal of the United Trans movement aspects, because that's her wheelhouse, that's where she lives. She spent her entire life in that space. Right. Myself, I will be running Person First, obviously, and I'll be interacting the back channels of all these teams. I'm very happy with the progress we've made so far, although there just seems to be some infighting on what direction to go. What I want from all of you, from the server members, any subject at all that you think you have found the best creme de la creme resource, whether it's software, whether it's a tool that helped you with time management, whether it's something that opened your eyes, whether it was a lecture or a book, so on and so forth, give it to me. Give it to all of us. Put it in the archive. We want the best and brightest to have the best and brightest tools. That's how we all win. Can you imagine how much farther you would be if you could go 10 years back in time and you had a short list of all of those resources and you could hand it to yourself a decade ago? That's what we want. Constant churning. Right? We have people of all ages from the age 17 all the way to 60. Imagine how much more powerful we can make someone who's 25 if they could take one of each of our best resources over time. By the time they turn 30, they are an absolute juggernaut force to be reckoned with. Learn how to leverage the power of the internet and this online space properly. If you feel like this is too aggressive or structured, fair enough. We're not very much here to just hang out and have a few drinks. As all of these, let's say, projects grow, and there will be more and more and more and more held onto the roster, this server will grow slowly, organically over time. And you will, going with the rules in the charter, you'll accidentally make friends. You'll find a lot of like-minded people who know their shit. Feel free to hang out. I'm fine if I never see you and I never talk to you and you just come here to farm the memes and you come here to farm, oh wow, that helps cut down on what I have to do for Python or Udemy or Khan Academy, or I'm going to give this to my kid to help study for their math test. If you get something out of this, I'm a happy man. I don't care if your stay is a long one or a short one. The only way we get forward is together. And I chose to settle any dispute. I chose Person First Initiative because it is the philosophical offshoot, if you will, of first principles. Because I'm very much a person first philosophy. I want to strip away the labels, the logos, the nonsense. That's why we don't have roles on the online space. We don't have like the pseudo badges roles. I don't care what you identify as. I want to know you as an individual. I want to know what you stand for. Any label gets attached to all the baggage. You know, if you believe in something, you don't then become the democratically or authoritarianly substantiated diplomat. You don't have to speak on behalf of all of your people just because you subscribe to something. Right? Just because you like Pokemon doesn't mean everyone's Professor Oak, if you prefer. Right? Just because you're Republican doesn't mean you have to defend everything one president has done or not done. So we ditch the labels. That's why I have chosen the Person First Initiative as the name. And it's very on brand for my philosophy on how I see the world, as well as going into the education, the workshop, the United Trans Movement. It's very, very easy. Well, it's easily recognizable, I should say. One thing that wasn't established, and I can already hear Michael in the background grinding his teeth, is actual structured progress. So not to get all corporate on you, but July, logo, social media, right? Google Drive setup. Maybe a know the staff page or know your role page. This was also an idea of someone wants to contribute, they fill out a form or they write down what their level of expertise is, what they just like, I'm a media manager, or I'm a professor, or I'm a blah, 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 right? They add it to an Excel document or they add it to a way of, a meet and greet. So they say, hey, I want to be part of this, where am I most useful? Or, hey, I want to be part of this, this is where I want to go. So the logo, the social media aspect, of which there will be little, but it still needs to be established, the Google Drive, and the Excel spreadsheet on who you are. Kind of like a very much cookie cutter, one sheet resume or a QA card of questions and answers of who you are, who's who. Basically a user profile aspect. Right? And this is opt-in. You don't have to do this. Again, there's no pressure. Everyone here is a volunteer. You work for free. You do what you like. Right? It's the July list. The logo, the social media, the Google Drive, this one Excel spreadsheet. That's it. That's all that's on the roster for the next 15 days. After this is done, I'm going to be absolutely transparent about this, is I want to get to the United Trans Movement project as fast as possible. So I'm going to appease and satisfy any random itches or cringy loose ends that we have for the Person First Initiative. We'll get it established, we have a skeleton, and then it will be fleshed out by the products we produce, by the projects we get behind. Such as the Gay Agenda, brought to you by Person First Initiative. The Outreach Program, brought to you by the Person First Initiative. Are you beginning to see the bigger picture through the smaller stepping stones on the pathway of which we're going? That's the agenda for July. This can be done in a few days. Life is going to get in the way and it will probably take longer. Samantha is already working on the logo. Social media, I can do some of it. I am welcome to hit me up in the DMs. Google Drive, I will present the Gmail of what it is once I have it today, and the link will be in the description of this video as well, so you don't get lost. Next will be, I will take notes and any suggestions on the Excel spreadsheet on people who want to be staff or people who want to just put a placard out there, a quick blurb of what they want to do, whether they know where to go or they're open to being sent somewhere. All right, that is it for now. Thank you all very much for indulging me. And that'll be it for now. Thank you again.